Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the day shift. Hey, Liz, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Paulette. If you're new here, welcome to the neighborhood of Brownstone Worldwide. Let me go ahead and fix my camera so that you guys are not looking down on me so much there. That's much better, much better, much better. Okay, so y'all, let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot of stuff to cover in a little bit of time. See, I'm learning how to set my boundaries so I'm not on here for 2 and 3 hours like I used to do before, because I got stuff to do throughout the day. So if you are new here, you are hanging out on the day shift. What do we do during the day shift? We talk news and information during the day shift, okay? We talk about what's happening outside of all of the craziness that we're continuing to hear about. Hey, Angie T. Hey, girl, come on in here. How you doing this fine Tuesday? All right, we know to grab our water, grab our coffee, grab our planners if that's your thing, so you can do what you need to do throughout the day. And we're going to talk about what's happening in the news. Why? Because it is important, because there is a lot of stuff that continues to happen every single day in the US of A and beyond. So couple things that we do here is I don't have all the answers, but I do try to research everything that I share with you. And sometimes you guys are as kind as you can be, and you'll share other information with me as well, and with the entire neighborhood. What is our mantra here? I'm on watch, and so is my neighbor. We try to inform each other of things so that we are well informed when we are making decisions about our communities, our lives, and for this country and the world, right? That's what we do here. All right. So first things first, number one, let's get into some news and info. Hey, Deborah, you're most welcome, Frank. If you haven't taken your vitamins today, what you waiting on? Okay. I just had to share that. Because I can't live without my vitamins and my meds. Now I'm only taking one. I'm not on no blood pressure. Praise God for that. But for those of you all who are, don't miss that. Calling you out. Yes, Ashton, girl, go get your stuff. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Handle your business. Take care of yourself, because you only get one you. All right, now let's talk about a couple of things that are happening that you absolutely need to know about, because I was on site today. And so I wasn't able to do a full news piece like I normally do. You take yours in the evening. Yes, I have to take mine in the morning, because by the time it's 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and before you know it, I'm thrown off. So a couple things that we definitely are going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the Insurrection Act of 1807. Hey, EBT Queen, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome. Come on in here and set a spell with us. We're talking the Insurrection Act. It is evident that this guy wants to invoke it. And we need to talk about that. We definitely need to talk about that. We need to talk about a couple of other things as well. You getting those benefits out. So, I'm going to ask, what's the tea in your office? What do we know in terms of this government shutdown and what's happening? How far do you think this is going to go? And just let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. Because I always like to, know what people are thinking. Where we're going with this government shutdown, what's happening right now, because honestly, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper this evening in regards to what the argument is really about with the government shutdown that maybe needs to be broken down just a little bit in terms of what's happening and why. So let's talk about the night shift. The night shift, this is the day shift, news, information, updates, okay? The night shift is about education. So last night we went through the 3 branches of government. Hey, Lily's Closet, come on in, sit down. Last night we talked about the 3 branches of government and their functions. And I think some light bulbs went off. Okay. And I'm glad of that because we all need some light bulbs to go off. Now, the second thing that we talked about was we talked about the preamble. Oh, let me show it to y'all one more time. Let me share it with you guys. I got this from my public library. Okay, they had these out, and I grabbed one. And I was talking about last night. Let me introduce you. And I asked this question. No interruptions. Good. Okay. Excellent for October. So for those of you all receiving EBT or someone. Savvy EBT Queen says right now there are no interruptions for October. How are we going to get Nicolette? Like, duh, right? I don't know. But let's talk about this. Let's continue to remain as informed as we possibly can. That's the first thing. I always tell people that. And getting as much news and information. And here's what we don't do here. We don't fearmonger. I just provide the information. What you do with it is your business. Okay. And I always like to tell people that I'm not here to scare you. Why would I want to do that? That's crazy. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that people get as much information as they possibly can. So welcome to all of you guys who are watching on the other platforms. Thank you so much for joining us here today. But we did talk about the preamble. Remember that back in the day when you were a kid, especially if you were a little girl and you played the little hand games, introduce yourself right on, introduce yourself right on. My name, yeah, is Paulette, yeah. And my sign, yeah, is Scorpio. Well, the preamble does the same thing. It is an introduction to the Constitution. And we all know it well, right? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and see, I'm getting ready to sing, but we know, hey, Becca, how are you? All right, so we talked about the 3 branches of government, okay? But there's loosely a 4th, and that is the media. Because the media helps to do the checks and balances, and we like to verify. And you haven't heard that in a while. Yeah, y'all remember that? We the people. And here's what's funny. You hear it and you immediately start the cadence around ensure domestic tranquility, right? Provide for the common defense. All right, so enough of that. I sang it last night. That's enough. But yeah, so it is important for us to take it back as simple as possible to the Constitution. Why? Because a lot of people are under the impression that it's not even anything that's being followed. That may be so to a degree. But what we highlighted last night was who was and is in control right now. of the Congress and your House of Representatives and your Senate. It's all the Republicans. So they're running things. So when you're hearing on one side who's blocking what, you have to ask yourself the question of who lied? No, they're not adhering to any of it. Absolutely not. So everything that we are witnessing right now is absolutely unconstitutional, depending on whose interpretation of the law that you want to believe, which we discussed when we talked about the judicial branch of government, which is the highest court in the land. That's the Supreme Court of the United States of America, which is what we call the SCOTUS. But then you also have your lower judicial courts that also see and hear and interpret the law based upon like words and, well, this means that, well, back then it meant that, and then they have to. So basically, yeah, they're bought. Angie G said they're bought. So we talked about that as well. We're going to dig deeper tonight, and we're going to start from the beginning again. If you followed me back in the summer, we had started going through each one of the senators and the House of Representatives, and we did 2 a night, one Democrat and one Republican per state. And we wanted to identify these. The reason why we wanted to start identifying these folks is because in order for us to make better decisions when the midterm, I said when, I didn't say no if, I said when the midterms come, is because you don't want to continue to keep voting for the same people that don't have your best interest at heart. When you don't even know who they are, you don't know what money they took, you don't know who's really supporting them, you don't know any of that. So one of the first things that you should do is to research what those are, so you can make a conscious decision for yourself what you want to do when you get in that voting booth. How do you do that? Well, you need to find out what Mike Murphy did, or what Hakeem Jeffries took, or who's supporting him. Those are important. Thanks, Mars, for that. I appreciate it. And a lot of people don't want to hear this because nobody really wants to do the homework. But that's how we end up in the place that we're in right now, because a lot of us didn't do the homework. Thank you so much for that, Who Dat. So let me tell you about a little field trip that I took today. So this morning, I went to the voter registration office in my county here in Atlanta. Okay. And I talked directly to the director of voter registration here, and we had an in-depth conversation on a lot of things when we're talking about local elections, but then also for the main election that we see that happens every 2 years and every 4 years, right? So one of the things that she talked to me about, so big shout out to her. One of the things that we talked about was understanding the security that it takes and the pre-planning that it takes in order for things to be put in position so people can vote early, and then also vote safely and securely. Okay. So I got an opportunity to see a lot of stuff today. And I got to see how things are sealed and how they transport things to different voting stations throughout the county to make sure that people are getting only what they need and nothing more, right? And then how that is closed back up, sealed, and then sent off to wherever it needs to go so that they can count those ballots and so forth. Sample ballots, that was explained to me today. But one of the things that she highlighted for me that I thought was super interesting, and I need you guys to hear me on this one, is understanding your county lines. So in many counties in the US, each county has like maybe an alderman, or maybe they'll have like someone that they consider an ombudsman, or even somebody considered a county commissioner. No matter where you are, it's called something. And these are the representatives for specific boroughs in your community, right? So what I didn't know was that when you come in, listen to this part, when you come into vote, or even if you come in to get your ballot, they're going to ask for what? They're going to ask for your ID. And the biggest misconception that people have on why they want your ID, people think it's because, she said, people think it's because Big Brother's watching you. She said that has nothing to do with it at all. We take your ID, first of all, to verify that it's you. Number two, to verify the address and the zip code, because those county and state lines crisscross each other so much that even if you live in a neighborhood where somebody is living next door to you or across the street from you, you all may not be voting on the same issues. So they have to verify that they're getting you the right ballot. I had no idea. I didn't even know that. I thought everybody got the same thing. She said, no, that's not the way that it works. And she said, we get that a lot, that people are concerned that, you know, you're taking my information and so forth. And it's really not so much about, we want to verify who you are, or even that you're doing things the right way. We just want to make sure that you're voting on the right things for your area. And it could be as something as simple as the person next door to you is in a different district than you, just based upon how those lines were drawn by the leadership in your community. And those lines could have been driven, written out 50 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever, or redone. Yes, gerrymandered AF in Indianapolis. It's unbelievable. Yes. And so based upon how those lines are drawn, that is what they can, that's the ballot that they give you. So everybody doesn't always get the same ballot. I had no idea. I thought everybody, but see, now it makes sense because it's like, right, but yes. And so here's the thing that you got to kind of pay attention to. Remember last night, if you were here, we talked about how important it is to get involved with your local civics first. Because a lot of you guys were asking, well, what should we do? Get involved locally. Seriously. But this is why, so that you know what's happening. When was the last time that you attended a board of commissioners or, your alderman's meeting or your ombudsman meeting or whatever it is that you have in your area, right? Hey, yes, Michelle Crochets. How are you? Hey, Sweet Devil 77. Yeah, so you all of this is super important, because if you aren't paying attention, number one thing to remember, this is how you keep voting for the same people over and over and over, because this one isn't explained to you. And number two, the other thing is that when you're getting your newspaper, when you're not subscribed to specific things, or you're not reading that voter letter that comes from your county government or your state government, and you're not reading it, you're missing important laws that are going to be on the ballot. So y'all, I'm in there and I'm picking up this document, and it's a letter that I know that I've seen. It was a press release that was sent out, and I hadn't paid it any attention. Oh, but I read it today. So I'm just as at fault. And it's about a homestead exemption for senior citizens over the age of 65. And they want to implement this to give over seniors a break where they're not having to pay for taxes for schools. But the schools in this area really need it. But it's going to be on the ballot. So a lot of people don't understand what that means. Well, what does that mean? Well, the homestead exemption is basically for homeowners over 65 who are still paying into the school system, but they don't have any children in the school system. That's as simple as I can put it. So when you're talking about that, it means that you had to have read the bill. And a lot of us aren't taking the time to read them, number one. But then number two, a lot of us don't understand it. Unless, of course, we're taking it apart and we're reading it, or we take it somewhere and we ask somebody to help us understand it. So you know what we don't do? We'll do it at all. We'll do it at all. And I'm not just talking about this particular bill that is here for this particular area. I'm talking about in general. We're not looking at local laws. We ain't paying attention. Exactly, Ashton. You get so confused. And a lot of us do. That's how come we don't participate. But you know what we do? We'll look at the signs in our neighborhood and remember those names. And guess what? Those folks know that. They know it. They know that you're not really looking at the bills. You don't even know what your county commissioner or your aldermen or whatever have done. except for show up for those county meetings every week or every other week or whatever. You don't know what they voted on. You don't even know what their job really is. And if you try to reach some of these people, you may or may not be able to get in touch with them. And they know that you're eventually going to give up, but you'll remember their name when it's time for you to vote again, because the sign is across the street in your neighbor's lawn, but y'all may not even be in the same district. Making sense? So that's how we keep ending up voting for the same people, because we're not paying attention on a local level. And when she got to saying it, I was like, so you mean to tell me somebody? Yeah. So even if you see a sign in somebody else's lawn next door to you across the street and you go to vote, it's not on yours. And then you say, well, why isn't it on mine? Because y'all not in the same district. Zen, it's the truth though. I know it's not, you don't mean any harm by that, but this is what's happening. And I want to try to shed some light on that. Me either, Zen. It's true. I haven't been paying attention. Because the truth of the matter is when I go into the booth, I'm probably going, it's the truth. I'm just keeping it 100. We have to start at the local level. How dare we sit here and say we want things to be better on the federal level? We don't even show up for school board meetings. I'm making some of y'all mad and I know it. And I can't help it. It's the truth. It's time for us to start being accountable for the things that we're not doing. And then we're expecting people that keep getting voted in on default because we remember their name. We can't be mad at them. We have to look at ourselves and say, all right, now, you didn't do this. This didn't get done. This didn't get done. Wait a minute. Let me pause and think about it. What are you supposed to be doing again? And do your checks and balances yourself and see if they did it. That is how, thank you for that, Dwayne. So that is how people are missing the mark when it comes to getting things done in their community. And then when things like a data center shows up in your backyard and it impacts your water and it has your light bill sky high, right? And those data centers said that they were coming in to save those communities. The jobs that they're talking about was to help build the data center. Once that data center is built, guess what? It's pretty much self-sustaining except for the maintenance folks and stuff, right? So when you sit back and you think about it, if you had done your due diligence, the data center wouldn't be in our rural backyards because they're here. And it's impacting people's health. It's impacting the noise levels in communities, both here in the state of Georgia and in other states that have lax laws when it comes to data centers. We're talking about Bitcoin data centers. I went down a rabbit hole this morning. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is who do you think is voting for these data centers to come into your area? When you vote those folks in and they sitting down and they making those decisions at the city and the county level, those are the people that you voted in. You're kidding. Nikayla, I hope I said your name right, baby. I'm in the National Guard and we haven't been paid in a month. Now we're pushing 2. Did y'all hear that? So here's the thing. That's right. Nikayla says they haven't been paid. Thank you so much for sharing it. Listen, do me a favor. Inbox me your information. Please send me a message. Because if they're expecting you to continue to do what's happening, Nikayla, that's a problem. Just got done? No. So I'm saying all of that to say we're not here to beat folks up. I want to make sure that we're aware that the only thing that we can do is to be well informed. And when we're not doing what we're supposed to do on a local level, they already know we ain't gonna do nothing on a federal level. Right? Hey Panda, how are you? I'm just saying. So I definitely let's keep talking about that. But don't cut yourself some slack, but give yourself time to start asking. Skating out of the bill by moving them at day 29. Oh, that's scary. Scary, scary, scary. All right, y'all. Let's get to talking about news and information real quick. So, because I got 20 minutes. See, I'm trying to keep my boundaries. This. Whoo. All right. So, a couple things. Let's talk about the insurrection. I had it up and I closed it. Let's talk about the Insurrection Act, what it is, and what this guy is up to. So we're talking about the Insurrection Act of 1807, okay? It's a federal law that empowers the President of the United States to nationally deploy the U.S. military and to federalize the National Guard of the individual states in specific circumstances, such as the suppression of civil disorder. Of insurrection. Yep, Sandra, you're right. And of armed rebellion against the federal government of the U.S. The Insurrection Act provides a statutory exception to the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 that limits the president's deploying the U.S. military to enforce either civil law or criminal law within the United States. Maddie, correct. Maddie said Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Yeah. Are you all following where I'm going with this and why we need to talk about this today? After invoking and before exercising the powers authorized under the Insurrection Act, Title 10, U.S. State Code 254 requires the publication of a presidential proclamation whereby U.S. President formally orders the dispersion of the peoples committing civil unrest or armed rebellion. True Light, it's funny that you come in here with your light and you speak those things that you are not sure of because you don't know me. Is this your first time in this room? Probably. Yep. We've been doing this. Even during the Biden administration. We've been doing this. It's about informing. Now, what you do with this information is on you. It's exhausting. It's always something. And yeah. How you know that? It is the wrong room. So we're going to let him have that, or her, whomever it is. All right. Even if it's a bot, go on ahead. All right. Yep. And that's it. Just vote. That's it. Right. So why are we doing that? Like, all right. Because when I tell you, I absolutely spoke on the issue of bringing in undocumented, and not so much undocumented, but when they were brought in here under asylum laws, they were given the additional support and put into Black communities, and those same Black folks couldn't get that same support. Oh, we definitely talked about that here. Hey, Kayshawn, how are you? Welcome, welcome. All right, so let's get back into the Insurrection Act of 1807. So after invoking and before exercising the powers authorized under the Insurrection Act, Title 10, U.S. State Code 254 requires the publication of a presidential proclamation whereby the U.S. president formally orders the dispersion of the peoples committing civil unrest or armed rebellion. The Defense Department guidelines define, quote unquote, homeland defense as a constitutional exception to the restrictions of the Posse Comitatus Act. Therefore, the political, military, and police measures necessary to protect national security from external threats are exceptions to the restrictions of the act. Exactly. Sade Speaks said it best. This is why your vote matters. They wouldn't be trying to suppress it if it didn't. That's it. That's it. Did that make sense to you guys, what's happening? Hang on just a second, y'all. It made sense, didn't it? And with everything that is currently going on, what do you think is going to happen next? I know, Panda. Because I'm going to put it in layman's terms. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a law that lets the president of the United States send the military to, quote, stop the violence, rebellion, or law breaking inside the country, but only in special cases. Okay? So with everything that's happening right now, check this out now. Pay attention, because now you should be furious. What? Peacefully protested. Bingo, Angie T. But with them already doing what they're doing, people are pissed off. They're angry. Yep. They're pissed off. They're sweet devil. They're showing out, right? He will make up a reason to use it against us. Right. No surprises here. That's not against the law. What he's doing is unconstitutional. He is invoking this. Exactly. It is being invoked upon those who are peacefully protesting. So the videos that we're seeing and stuff like that, if you see that, they're being provoked. You can see it. Now, normally the U.S. military can't act against people inside of the U.S. because that's the job of the police, not soldiers. But this law gives the president permission to use troops if things get so out of control that local police or state governments can't handle it. What you think is happening right now? Yes, they did, Angie. It is absolutely in Project 2025. Yep. And this is not to fearmonger you. You should be absolutely furious. Because if I'm not mistaken, there are people who are peacefully protesting. Sure, not a problem, Patricia. We're going to go over once again, okay? This happened exactly the way. Hey, GLP-1 Life with Sheila. How are you? Yep. Where are all the people that called us liars after he acknowledged? Yep. Did you see that? He sure did. He sure did, Carolina. That's exact. Wet Bar Bay hit it right on the nose. That's exactly what happened. It's a literal bullying into the response that they wanted so that they can validate invoking the Insurrection Act. Make sense? Ruby, I'm gonna have to get one. Like I had one. Like my brother kept this book by his bed when we were kids. And I was just like, well, what's that? While I was reading all the goofy stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to go down the rabbit hole with y'all. Is any of this making sense to y'all? And why we should be not so much furious, but the strategy should be what? What Black folks been saying. Stand down. Period. Because that's what they want. Stand down. I wouldn't, Patricia. I wouldn't delete nothing. I wouldn't delete nothing at all. Good, Zen. I'm glad that made sense for you. And that's okay, Maddie. Y'all remember that song back in the day? Some of y'all old enough to remember this song. It was a little pop song. What goes up must come down. Yep. Don't fall for the bait. They're banking on unrest. They're banking on it. So I'm going to say it again. What we've been saying since this started, stand down. Don't give them what they want. The Black community has been saying this since this started. Excuse me, y'all. I had to take my vitamin. And this is the reason why we've been saying it. It's okay if you remember that. Bailey, I appreciate that. I received that wholeheartedly with these gray edges. Right, sweet devil. We should all, they hate us because we're doing the opposite standing. Yeah, we got to stand down because we know what's up. All right, so let's talk about that, Becca. Becca says, should we not protest? Just not like that. That's why I'm not deleting nothing. Okay? I'm not going to do it. So, Nikayla, did that help you a little bit, honey? What we just talked about? So now that you know that that's what they're looking for, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a reason. Like what's happening in the Chi, what's happening in Portland. They're hoping that the rest of the country gets upset. Mookie hit it right on the head. You already know what I'm getting ready to say. Pull your money. Go ahead and pull your money. I bet you they'll understand that. I bet you Hulu and Disney got it real quick, didn't they? And some of us is not going back, regardless. And there's some shows I really, really like that I know I can't get anywhere else, but I'm not going back. Because you can't have my money and then you realize that you made a mistake and then I give it back to you? Absolutely the hell not. No, we're not doing it. I talk about this often here, so I'm going to bring it up because some of you guys are new here. When I was a teenager and I was studying about the history of this country, and what they were telling us in the history books was about the Great Depression. Period. There you go, Becca. I'm not going back. I canceled my Hulu. When y'all decided to do what you did, and let me also be clear on this. I'm hearing a lot of this too. Let's just talk about this right now. I'm squirreling right now. I'm hearing a lot of, well, y'all didn't do that when Don Lemon got fired. Y'all didn't do that when Joy. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. You didn't. You wasn't over here with the rest of us in media. I can't tell you when was the last time I saw MSNBC. I can't tell you the last time that I paid attention to what was going on CNN. Period. So you can't, I need people to stop sensationalizing everything for the numbers and the likes. The truth of the matter is that a lot of us have been making these decisions. In certain places I'm not looking at and I'm not spending my money. I had already made a decision to leave Target alone when I noticed that their LGBTQIA stuff was in the back of the store. I was like, oh, this is my last day here. Matter of fact, I put stuff back on the shelf and walked out. That was 2 years ago. I haven't been back. So what do you do during these times? Just like we did with Hulu and Disney, didn't they lose like $4.3 billion in like a day? Or was it like 48 hours? And they was like, all right, okay, hold up. We got to stop this bleeding right now. We got to do something. We got to bring him back. And then all of a sudden, everybody else stopped. These people understand one thing: money. That's what they understand. But because we are consumers in this country, and there are certain things that we believe that we can't live without, we don't think that we're supposed to not support. And I talked about this last night where my own children, I love my babies. I really do. But I got one that wish that she's not leaving Target. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's a no. That's number one. I have another one. that they're never going to stop shopping at Sam's. It's not happening. It's not happening. So you have to make a decision where you're going to spend your money. And if you do, it must be for a necessity for some things that you can't get anywhere else. So when I was a teenager, I have to tell this story. Some of y'all know the story. Just bear with me, because we got some new people in the room. I was about 16, and we were studying the Depression. And I was raised by people that were born in 1920. So that means that they grew up during the Jim Crow era of the Depression. And so I was asking her one day, it was breakfast, and I'm all interested, like I'm poring over the books. I'm just so enamored with what happened and how people dealt with things. And we were learning about people losing everything and jumping out of what, just all kinds of craziness. And I was like, so what was it like? Just starry-eyed, just dumb, you know? What was it like for y'all growing up during the Great Depression? And she looked at me, she said, what depression? Never forget, she was having a coffee and toast. What depression? And I thought, well, this one right here in the book. You know, I'm holding up the book like this one right here. Y'all, I don't have my glasses on. If you're talking, forgive me. So we have a Costco. The owner does very good things for his company. And they pay really well. Like, I was a hater. That's what I heard too, Nani. So I was like, well, this one here, this is what happened during. She said, that happened to the white folks. That didn't happen to us. They didn't want us to be a part of their communities anyway. We had our own stuff going on. So her father owned a grocery store in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And all black folks shopped there. And they bartered with each other. Anyway, are you following what I'm saying? Anyway, they had already created their own community because Jim Crow had them in a specific area that they couldn't do business with anybody else but each other. So they didn't even know that it was a depression going on. That's what I said. Angie T said it well. Well, we've been doing this. We're not new to this, folks. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yep. We're not new to this. Why do you think that they tried their best and did destroy prosperous black communities? Because they were prosperous and didn't need that white dollar. And here's the thing, that black dollar circulated in that black community multiples of times. And white folks couldn't get a hold of that money. So you make up a lie and y'all go in there and you do what you want to do. Tulsa, Rosewood, Amy, Arkansas. It's a bunch of places that never get talked about because we were self-sustaining. Exactly. Wilmington. Yep. The Depression was different for black folks. Yep. Our dollar was circulating in our own communities, our own doctors, our own lawyers, our own nurses, our own teachers and schools. And we were taking care of each other within our community. Lake Lanier. Well, I mean, think about it. Yeah, history is whitewashed. The history that we were taught was actually created by, what's the name of this group? The Daughters of the Confederacy? Isn't that the name of the group? Seneca, yep. Yes. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, that's why they wanted those black communities gone. Nikayla, I'm gonna be here for a minute. This is why it's so important for y'all to understand, Becca and the others who asked this question. We don't have to be a part of the system. We know what to do. We know what to do. Yeah. Dandyism. Yes. Come on, dandyism. So you do understand what I'm saying. So when we Create and it's already out there. You know where it's at? Go downtown to this place beside in a lot of your areas, we have like a revitalization that's happening in smaller towns as Walmart is starting to close some of their stores, because of whatever reason, theft and, high crime areas and XYZ, they're closing some of these stores. You still have these mom and pop stores that sell the same thing that Walmart does, but y'all don't want to go over there. You don't want to patronize those folks. I don't care what race they are. They still got to feed their families, and they're trying to be entrepreneurs and provide you with a product or a service. And we won't patronize them because we're looking for a deal. And I understand that. But right now, listen, we got to put our money where our mouth is. Hey, Laura, how are you? Donna Lynn, stop. Here's all you got to do, Nani, to make it real easy for yourself. And you can still go get your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Go to the flea market. I bet you there's somebody out there selling them in bulk because they've already purchased it for you. So they're the middle person now, right? Hello, Linda. How are you? Does that make sense? So we could easily, and I do this anyway. So I shop local as much as I possibly can because of where I live. It is possible. Yep. The bodegas. There is an amazing bodega near my house. We have 2 of them. And I introduced my daughter to paletas my granddaughter to paletas this weekend. And she was like, Mimi, that's your name. I was like, yeah, that's how you say my name in Spanish. But we had those and we got some meat from there. Yes, honey. Yes. Con tajin. Yes, absolutely. So we bought like the mangoes with tajin on it, and it's sitting over here on the counter now. Yeah. So you have to learn how to shop local. Shop local. And y'all know, living in Atlanta, you're going to find some local people around here. So like I said, we have a couple of bodegas by my house. We have, there's a couple of African sisters and a Jamaican joint where we get like our restaurant food and stuff like that if we want to eat out. And these are people that have come here to this country and they work really hard and And so there you go, Donna, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You don't have to get your toilet tissue from Walmart if you don't want to. You can't leave Compton. Farmers markets are the best. You better tell them about a farmers market. Listen, get to a farmers market. So when I was coming up, we had one in Milwaukee called 7 Mile Fair, and it's still there. Find your local farmers markets. That's the first thing. The second thing is make sure that you're finding out who your local grocers are. Finding out, it is a whole vibe, right, Sweet Devil? Like you can make it like a whole day. Mall? What you talking about, a mall? Y'all better go to the flea market and don't find one that's on the inside. They got the food court and everything. Listen. Y'all better get into this local stuff. Get local. Shop local. So you know about the 7 Mile Fair? Oh, yeah, that was the joint when I was a kid. Yeah. And these people come out and they got their fruits and their vegetables and all the things. And you go out there and you patronize them. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to take that money. And 9 times out of 10, they're not shop. What they're doing is they're replenishing their supply so you can come back. Because most of the time it is a reusable product that has to be replenished. If you got a garden, community garden, it's like 4 or 5 right where I live. Community garden, get your corn, your peas, your vegetables, whatever, your dry beans. There's a food co-op not far from me. And if you live in the Atlanta areas, which means that they're everywhere, find your food co-ops. There's a food co-op. I can get groceries, y'all, for $30, $200 worth of groceries. All I got to do is drive to Decatur. What? So they're there. And barter systems. We have to understand that there was a time. Now, mind you, I am a business owner. So I'm hearing myself say this, but the type of business that I have, you do have to pay for advertising. Yep. And do other things. Yep. Local Asian, local African. Yes. And it's going into the community. Come out of these. You don't have to come all the way out. You hear me? But come out of. That's the resistance that we need. And we need to stand together with that. Exactly. What do I always say? We still the people. That's why I'm over here smiling, because you should get excited. You should go. I'm going to tell you what my daughter taught me. She goes on Facebook and she looks up our local area. And she will find the areas around us that are having sales. She believes in the whole experience. Let me tell y'all what she did. It messed my head up. And I have not been the same since. Listen. So, and this is important. Even though I'm enjoying this, it was important for me to understand, because I wouldn't go out and do anything because I'm such a homebody, right? Like I just, you know what I mean? But this is how we resist. Exactly, Donna Lynn. You have to go local. So she would get her Facebook app and she'd go through, honey, she'd be finding little stuff for her and my granddaughter to get into. She'd be like, Mama, you want to go? And I'd be like, where you going? Oh, we're going out to the peach patch and they sell ice cream and we can go and pick peaches and bring them home and da da da. And by the time I got through, it is now an annual adventure for my family and I. Yes. And then we'll go downtown in the area where we live. It is absolutely aesthetically beautiful. So whenever we have clients for Brownstone Living magazine that are going to be on the cover, we shoot downtown. We shoot and film and do the interviews and stuff right here in town. I do business with other business owners. Why? Because I'm a member of my local chamber. The apple orchard. Yes. So what we're doing is we're going within and we are creating and y'all talking about that peach ice cream. And then they have it nice and they got the nice little, it's in Concord, Georgia is where it is. Yes. Because here's the thing. Why not smile? Take your power back. I didn't know I was going down this road, but yes, Flash. Peach ice cream is the business. And even though you've been there, Lavores, when I tell you I live 15 minutes from there, I had no idea. Then you can go over to McDonough, Georgia, where I live, and you can go and pick flowers and pay for them by the bunch. Okay? What about your consignment stores, where these people have taken their products, the things that they're no longer using, and it could be something that you need that's right there. It may not have to be new. You'd be surprised, honey. It's some places around here. This stuff looks like it's brand new. Get it for $200-$300. You're afraid of driving? I don't go downtown if I don't have to. I live in a small town, Nikayla, is what I'm saying. I don't live in Atlanta. I'm the final county in Metro Atlanta. So we live in I am near Sonoy, Georgia, where they filmed The Walking Dead. They actually do a lot of filming here as well, too. So like all the Marvel movies and stuff that done here. So it's very small. A lot of Lifetime movies and stuff because of the way that the town looks downtown and stuff. Yeah. You miss Stone Mountain? I don't. I did not miss it because the traffic was too much for me. They did the Joker in Newark. I love it. So you see where I'm going with this? Your fear of the highways, you have to get over it. So listen, I don't get on the highway unless I have to. Now that doesn't mean that I don't drive it, but there's no reason to. With everything that I need is local. Everything I need is local. The local business owners like Smashburger, the Historic Griffin Hotel. What else? These old houses. They've turned them into office spaces. So sometimes I'll go and I'll utilize the office spaces. You know what else you can do? If you really want to do something about this, find out who these companies, these big box stores or big box businesses are supporting and get rid of them. Because whatever you want to get, I bet you or guarantee you it's you can either get it like your digital stuff or your books or whatever, your digital audio books and all that. Go to your local library, download the Libby app. A library card is free. It just takes a couple minutes of your time. You moving to Georgia? Roro said you move. Yeah. So when we're talking about what they want to see, we just do what folks been doing. In my community, yeah, that Libby app is the business. And some libraries actually have Canopy or Hoopla. Let me tell y'all what I did today. Before after I left my client's location, I called myself, right next door is the Senior Citizens Building. Yes, I am a senior citizen. So I went next door and I was like, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna see how much it is to be a part of the senior citizens, whatever, right? Why y'all didn't tell me that they got so much fun stuff to do? Honey, they got billiards. I'm telling you this for a reason. They had billiards. They had a pool tournament going on, and all the old cats was in there. We ain't talking about just anybody. We talking about the old brothers, right? Across, they had sewing. They were playing do-wop, I did it. And I thought, wait a damn minute. Y'all in here kicking it. What? Walking, they went to the Braves game. They went out of town. They went to North Carolina the young man told me they were going to North Carolina. But here's my point. And then there's right around the corner from me, not even a mile, there's about a mile. It's about a mile. They have an aquatic center, brand new. I'm finna go swim. Are you following? This is local stuff. You don't have to. All I'm saying is we can have these amazing experiences, and in the living well, we are resisting. In the living well locally and taking care of each other in our neighborhoods, we are marching. In the living well, I am Sandy. It's good to see you as well. Becca, does this help? You live in Savannah? I have some dear friends from Savannah. It's very helpful. Good. But it's going to take some due diligence. It's going to take, and now mind you, we're talking about somebody who sat at the feet of these griots in my community who said, we couldn't live where they live. So Savannah stayed in the house. Okay. Conyers over. Okay, Conyers. Blue dot in Arizona. I see you. But this is how we still get to live our lives. We still get to have fun. We still get to do all the things. And we're shopping local and we're giving back to the community. Come on, South Fulton in the building. I see you. Yep. Suma says if we stop doing the things that bring us joy, they win. And it's good things because you're giving back to your community. They ain't expecting that. Oh, a lot of American history. Last time I was there, my daughter was marching in a parade. I forgot what it was. I think it was Juneteenth. Was it Juneteenth? Might have been, but that's been so long ago, honey. She done graduated from college. But anyway, I say all of that to say that is how we resist. With our time and our money. We march by shopping local and finding out. Take that app. Of course, this is the Constitution, but take that app, that go to Marketplace and see who got some stuff that you need. Have you used the Whatnot app lately? Do you need some things? Go download the app and find out for yourself. If there's certain things that you can't find in your area, I bet you it's on Whatnot. And what do you think will happen if the collective continues to shop local and use Whatnot and Marketplace, and we begin to take our money and share it amongst each other and create that bartering system, and we begin to see that money circling in our communities, and people are able to live well and pay their bills and feed their families without the support of big box retailers and big box companies that have told us what we are worth, what would that look like? Every time that we went out and we had fun in our local communities and in gardens, and we were picking peas and pulling our carrots up, we were marching by doing all of that rather than what they expected us to do. And that's to continue to be a part of the system that clearly only wants our money. So take your money back. That's your power. Too Good To Go app. Y'all see that? On your company sending. Take back the system and Too Good To Go. Y'all write that down. Write it down. There's another one. Goods Unite Us. Too Good To Go app. That's one. Deep discounts for fast food. Oh, my daughter told me about that one. She actually used it and came home with, like, I don't know, all kinds of cakes and stuff from a local bakery here for like $4. And they're in the freezer. Too Good To Go. So instead of throwing the food away, they have an option for it to be sold. There are local restaurants here in my area. One's called Southern Social. They just opened, but it's a brewery. And then right up the street is Piedmont Brewery. So two breweries literally within walking distance of one another. Then, of course, if I want to go and hang out downtown for the entire weekend and I don't want to come home, then I just go to the historic Griffin Hotel. And y'all, when I tell you this area is growing fast, it is so amazing living here. It is so quaint and so Lifetime Movie Network. It's ridiculous. But I've recognized that these are small business owners like myself. And we're the heartbeat of this country. And it's hard sometimes when you're getting squeezed out, when media companies are getting squeezed out and we're being told what we can say and what we cannot say. So a lot of us choose to remain independent. Because I want to be able to say what I want to say, how I want to say it, because I own it. Outdoor Refrigeration, Northwestern University. Public Square are the... I don't know. But you know what? There's some folks on either side that's hurting, that's ready to stand up and do some stuff. Too Good To Go is one. Too Good To Go. Hey, the Ritual Rambler. So Too Good To Go is one. And then we have another one that somebody mentioned. Let me see if I can go back and find it. Because y'all talking about storming. That's good. Take Back the System and Goods Unite Us. So I'm going to write those down. Too Good To Go, and that's TOO, Good To Go. Take Back the System and Goods Unite Us. Okay? Unite Us. Okay, the reason why this is important is because this is going to help you. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. If you don't have Meta, if you do not have like direct access to what may be happening in your local area, a good place to go is Facebook, because you can see the events that are happening based upon your zip code. And then they also have Marketplace. What are you doing? We're resisting. We're resisting. Yes, those are apps. Correct. So Becca asked earlier, Ritual, how do we do that? You got rid of Facebook? Okay, so there may be other ways to do it. You may want to check other applications as well. But I know Facebook Marketplace, and I also know the events page for my area always has pretty cool things, like who has a rummage sale in the area. That's one of the reasons why I use it a lot, outside of the fact that I'm live on Meta right now. The Nextdoor app is perfect. Yes, the Nextdoor app. So based on your neighborhood and your zip code, go to the Nextdoor app and you'll put in your information like your zip code or whatever, and it'll pull up your community. And it's like a social media app for your neighborhood. So absolutely the Nextdoor app. Nextdoor. Yep. Thrift and consignment. Telegram is really good as well, but you got to be careful because you'll get put in groups you ain't got no business or want to be in. So yes, I meant that. Because this is what we're doing. And the reason why I say that is because if you show up tonight when I go live, I'll explain why I said what I just said about that, and why this is so important. Because these major corporations, honey, they already done gave money to so and so and so to take care of their best interests. Nani, you said you were getting paid by Facebook? Mm-hmm. Yep. Working locally. I work at McDonald's and I feel dirty knowing what they oh my God. But if you know that, yeah. So somebody else said maybe not Nextdoor, but in my community it works really well. It's not worth the money if I can't share info to my community. Gotcha. Okay. And I hope that you guys are finding this helpful, right? Super important. And this is honestly, once I sat back and I thought about, they have a marketplace on Hallmark Community. You're most welcome, Mariah. Mariah says your videos are helpful. Thank you for sharing your voice and call of action. That's the reason why I'm saying that is because the other folks over here can't see that. But I do want you all to understand the power. We still the people, y'all. They can't do what they're doing without our tax dollars. Oh, what just fell out the sky? Seriously, they can't. They can't do it. Right, the Bug's Life. You remember that? It's facts though. You can't do anything without my coinage. You can't. Don't be sad, sweetie. You're scared, Brenda? Don't be scared. Go find you some green beans to go pick. I'm so serious. Do something local. Spend local. And then you're like, well, I just got laid off. Listen, let me tell y'all my story. And then I'm going to wrap it up because I got about 11 minutes. I was laid off. I was the director of DEI for the company that I worked at. And I was one of the Black women that got laid off. But let me explain something to you. This happened during the Biden administration when the ruling had come out that, well, you really don't have to honor. And then they were doing, remember when this guy was going around, this Jewish guy, he was going around, he was suing all of these people that were doing like grants just for Black women and schools and so forth. Well, a lot of businesses got scared. And so they started doing what? Letting a lot of us go. And I happen to be in that number. That was 3 years ago. Officially, November 1st will be 3 years. Let's be clear. I am one of the 300,000. But that was 3 years ago. It was starting to happen then because this guy was going around suing everybody. And then the judges were siding with him and they were like, oh, well, you got to shut that grant program down. And you got to shut that down. And you got to shut this down because he didn't want nobody that wasn't white not benefiting. Even though Black folks getting grants or financial backing for their businesses is like in the 0.1 range or 0.6 something or whatever. So it's very small, very minuscule number, but he didn't even want that. So a lot of y'all remember that? What'd you say? Get your paperwork. Yeah. So when that happened, a lot of us that were in that industry got cut. Yeah. So what I ended up having to do was I said, well, I do have Brownstone Worldwide. It was making some money. It wasn't making a lot, right? And I started going live. I started, and then on top of that, I started doing UGC work. I took a class by Kimberly Millionaire. I don't even know if she does the class anymore. Good to see you too. And then I said, I have to make this work, because while I was doing all of that, I was still job hunting. And I couldn't find work. Couldn't do it. Yep. Hey, Cutter. Yep, I couldn't find work. So I was like, and I was desperate. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. See, this is something I've never shared. And then I got to wrap it up. I got 9 minutes. I'm trying to be good. So I was desperate. I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I got to do something. So she does Cutter. Okay. So I took this class from Kimberly Millionaire. And it was the first time I had actually truly been introduced to UGC work. And I took the class, and it was worth every dime. Baby, I took that daggone class, and I learned about the TikTok shop. I got in that. I started making money. Then I did a couple UGC, UGC is user-generated content. So you may have actually seen me. People, and it's funny because I see myself sometimes on some of these commercials. So funny. And so the apps again are Too Good to Go, Take Back the System, and Goods Unite Us. And I'll even do a recap video after this. But yeah, so I did UGC, user-generated content. I'll see myself. People send me videos of myself. My family members on Facebook will go, okay, cuz, don't tag me in it. Don't tag. But here's the thing. I had to learn that maybe, just maybe, I had a couple of things that were working against me, but also working for me. Number one, I'm over 50. Number two, I'm overeducated. Okay. And number three, I'm female and I'm Black. Those 4 things. Okay. So when I tell you I have had this true story, 3 interviews in the past 3 years. Because see, you can go over to my LinkedIn page, and I'm not ashamed to be Black. So my face is right there like this with my little suit on. I don't have anything to hide. Couldn't find anything. So I had to get creative while the mortgage company was calling, while the light bill needed to be paid. Thank God I own my car, because it got bad for a minute. And here's something else. I had to start looking at, and I'm telling y'all this for a reason. Y'all need to hear this. This isn't so that I could, so that I can brag, because it's nothing to brag about. But then I started to realize I was getting monetized. I was getting monetized over here, and then I was getting monetized over there. And then in between, I was doing UGC, which is you cut commercials for companies, and you look like the real customer, the real person. And so that's how you end up getting paid for that. So you can do it through several different, platforms. You can do it through your own. You can create a platform on Fiverr, on Upwork. It's several different places that you can do it. And when I tell you, Kimberly broke that thing down, and I think it was like a 4 or 5 week program or whatever, and it was well worth it. Like I said, and I always shout her out for that, because I was trying to understand it, and I didn't. And I took that class. And when I tell you, my summer was fabulous. Okay. Not only was it fabulous, I was able to, bring on a client or two with Brownstone Worldwide, and we helped them with their content. And so I was grateful for that. And then it was, okay, cool. So I'm looking at my numbers, and mind you, I still have people that work for me. Go over to check out Kimberly Millionaire and go to the link in her bio. I think it's in there. Kimberly Millionaire. Yep. And her class is worth every dime. I tell anybody that. And I'm not being paid for that. And there's some people in here I met because of her that I still connect with and I still follow. Yep. I think she's on Instagram too, but I know she's definitely on TikTok. If it was not, here's something else. If it wasn't for Kimberly Millionaire, I would not be an Amazon influencer. She rolled with me until I became an influencer. Because I was like, I can't get in. She was like, okay, this is what you do. Da, 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 da. This is how you do this. X, Y, Z. And when I finally got in, it was on. Yeah. So here's my point. My point is if you pay attention to what I just said that I have Brownstone Worldwide, which is my media company. We have Brownstone Living Magazine, and we also have Cityscape Radio. I have people that pay advertising to be a part of that. Not in addition to that, I also have TikTok Shop. I also am monetized on a couple of different platforms, including TikTok, including Facebook. Follow where I'm going with this. Listen closely. Not only that, but I also have affiliate programs that I'm a part of, and I also do UGC work. Multiple streams of income is important, is my point. And I just add it up. Every month, I'd be like, okay, I got to do, that's why I got all these planners, because I need to make sure, and then I don't do everything. I have 4 people that work with me, and I hand off the work. Once we compile it, someone else edits it. Once all the content comes in for the magazine, someone else puts it together, right? The reason why this is important is because in times like this, I don't think that this is going to be the last of it, that we will see people beginning to lose their jobs. We're going to see a little bit more of this. And when that happens, you have to be able to do what? You have to go within and become resourceful. I have not gone back to corporate since I was let go. Not without lack of trying. But I think after 2 years, I finally had that moment where I realized it was not going to happen again. Cutter, are you serious? You just lost yours? See, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, we're sitting here and so when you find valuable people that are giving you valuable information, connect with them and pay for that course if you have to. Because I've made my money back. Yep. Daily gift and Hey Cash. And for gas, that makes sense. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I have DoorDash because it puts cash in my pocket daily. I'm sorry to hear that, but at the same token, maybe congratulations. Upside, yep, the Upside app, yep, Pogo. So there are things that you can do. You could just add it up. And then, I still have some folks that, I birthed that are grown. They get them to go to work every day. So, some of this, everybody pitches in. Right? I hear you. Yeah. But it hasn't, I'm not going to lie to you, it hasn't been easy. Because on top of that, now you got to remember, I have been with the company 6 years. So I had to go through the grieving process. So you having to get up and figure out how and then once your severance package is done, then you go through your unemployment, which was nothing compared to your severance package. And the only thing that has really been most helpful is the fact that I still do get royalty checks. That's been very helpful. And you get like a lump sum twice a year. Now, I ain't say, hey, Spread Love, how are you? Now, I didn't say they always a nice lump sum, but it helps. So I'm saying that not to brag, because it's a lot of work. But and the mortgage may get paid late, but that sucker get paid before the end of the month. Insurance might get paid late, but I bet you'll get paid. Because we have to take not only shopping local seriously, but we also have to understand that one stream of income in this economy and all of the things that are happening right now may not be so wise. And that was the lesson that I learned because I only worked that job. What? You can contest that, Cutter. I am so sorry to hear that. It's good to see you too. I know. And that's, but here, before I wrap, because I'm already a minute late, before I wrap, I need y'all to understand that we have many different ways without us getting out here in these streets, because that's what they want. I need us to stand down. If nothing else, you're not hearing this directly from me, but you're hearing this from Spirit. We're going to blame it on Spirit today, right? Stand down. Stand down. Resist with your dollars. Resist locally in your communities. Download those apps that were expressed today in the chats today, which were Goods Unite Us, Too Good to Go, Take Back the System, Goods Unite Us. That's another one. Yep, and Take Back the System. Okay, down to my last few dollars. These last few dollars. I already know, Cutter. Listen, if I could do it and I didn't, listen. I didn't say it's Big Peaches. And then, wait a minute. When I go singing, I ain't singing for free. Okay? If you have a vehicle, DoorDash. I have gotten in my car and DoorDashed. And we'll do it again. I still got the app and the card because it pays daily to your card. Stand on your boundaries. Oh, you don't drive. That's okay. That's okay. Hotel Planner, I know, is hiring. Yeah, DoorDash. Man, listen, let me tell y'all something about this door. I can, if I decide, if I wasn't so busy, I could literally go DoorDash from, say, for instance, noon until like 1 and come back. Not noon to 1, 11 to 1. Come back. I done made it quick. I've made maybe 40 or 50 bucks. I'm not trying to, make $100, but I could easily, where I live, it's easy to do. Yep. DoorDash, Uber Eats. Some people do multi apps. But my point is don't put your money in one bag. That was my mistake. That was my error. Because I thought my degrees were going to hold me. Lies you tell. Okay. Check out Hotel Planner. Hotel Planner pays once a week. Instacart, yep. Spark, which is Walmart. For real. And Hotel Planner, you're just taking calls. And all you're booking hotels. It's not customer service. Either they want it or they don't. That's it. Ask me how I know. Where my head said that. I'm so serious. I do whatever it takes. Because even though I have Brownstone Worldwide and I believe in what I'm doing, it's still taking time to get there. That's my point. For real. All right, folks, y'all know what we got to do. We got to wrap it up. We talked about the Insurrection Act today. We talked about Too Good to Go. We talked about Take Back the System, Goods Unite Us. And we also talked about, we never got around to the news. We talked about the 3 branches of government tonight when we go live again. Amazon Flex is another one. It's not available in my area because I sure look. We talked about, multiple streams of income. And how do we resist? Go local. Come out of the system. Go local. You ain't got to come all the way out. But pull a lot of your money and put it into these local communities where these mom and pop stop shops and flea markets and stuff are. They out here. All right, folks, we already know what I'm getting ready to say. 3 things that we always like to say before we leave the dining room table. Of course, you are most welcome. So glad that you all were able to come and hang out with me again today. Tonight for the day shift, we're going right back in to Who Took APAC, Super PAC, and PAC Dollars. We're going to start from the beginning once again. All right, folks, 3 things that I always like to tell everybody before we end each live. 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace everything that is your life because you only get one you might as well enjoy it. And lastly, breathe through every single moment. I will see you all around 8:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you around.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, exciting. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.